Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday map talk. We're so excited to have you on board. We have an exciting speaker tonight. His name is Marvin Horkins. Marvin hails from Pretoria. He's married to Joanne, and they have two beautiful kids. Marvin is a multi-talented man. He's a Map for Life coach. He's the Martini Method facilitator. He's a senior account executive at Gartner and a music director at Christian Revival Church. So what better individual to share with us his thoughts on vision and actually documenting vision. So without further ado, I hand you over to Marvin, and please engage and enjoy the talk.
Good evening. My name is Marvin Horkins. Thank you, Terence, for that kind introduction. Yes, I'm here today to tell you a little bit about vision and the power of writing things down. And I'd like to first talk about what is a vision. There are many definitions of a vision, and one definition that I've come across speaks about it's the ability to think about or to plan the future with imagination or with wisdom. Someone else said once that vision is the bridge between the present and the future. Now, throughout the centuries, people have discussed how important it is having a vision for your life. And I really believe that this is important for every one of us. It's been stated that those that have a vision will flourish and those that don't have a vision will perish. Two questions I want you to ask yourself. One, what is it that I would like to do to bring to planet Earth? The second question is, what is it that I would like to do that is meaningful to me? Glenn McQuirk, the founder of Map for Life, asks us a question often. And he says, why live life by default when you can live life by design? Each day is an opportunity for you to define what that vision is for you by writing it out. Because a short pencil is better than a long memory. And crystallizing that's inside of you, that dream that is within you is so crucial. The real vision for your life gives you that sense of purpose, that sense of feeling, that sense of being. And any detail that you leave out when you do start writing your vision becomes actually an obstacle and a challenge in your life that you have to face. Those that with the vision, as I said, do flourish. Glenn says that you were created for a purpose that the world cannot do without. So let's look at some of the traits of a great vision. A great vision is effective, almost like it provides that North Star. You know, picture yourself on this ocean and there's this wave, a lot of waves and these storms that are happening. That North Star is the star that you'd always keep your eye on to make sure that you're moving in the right direction. Glenn, when we did our training, used the analogy of imagine yourself in this very busy restaurant or in this very busy hall, and you need to get to where your friends or your family is sitting. But in between all of that, you've got a waiter, or you've got people walking across, there's tables, there's chairs, there's plants. The best way in that busyness to make sure that you get to where you want to go is by keeping your eye on that vision. And that is the way to constantly stay engaged. No matter what comes across your path, keep your eye on where you're heading. A vision provides that direction and the roadmap into the future. It describes the type of life that you want to live and what you want to become and how it's unique, and it creates purpose and identity for you. So let me give you some quick benefits of an effective vision. A vision provides that direction. It helps you, your family, your organization prepare for the future. Secondly, it provides the guidance for decision making. It helps to shape the life of you and your family or your organization's strategy, exactly what you need to do to get to where you need to go. It guides the type of people that you surround yourself with, or the type of company that if you're an entrepreneur, the type of company that you set up, those that you'll hire, and those that you'll promote. Vision defines what you will and you will not do. It also helps to set those priorities and helps you as a guiding plane, helps you with guiding. It also aligns people and activities across your life or the life of your organization. It reflects your life's core values and your beliefs. Vision empowers you and the people around you. It helps guide you and those around you. It helps them to also get focused on what they need to be doing in terms of their efforts. And finally, vision brings change and gives you that hope for future. Now, if you are a Christian or if you believe in the great book, the Bible talks and references two scriptures, and these are the two scriptures that I quickly want to bring up. One is James 4 verses 2 that says, "You have not because you ask not." So you got to ask in order to get your vision. Your vision is within you. It's not just about it being somewhere out there. It is within you. It takes you to take some time out to be with yourself and quieten everything around you so you can get in touch and ask that question. So who am I? What am I here for? What have I been brought onto this earth to do? When you have a clear vision with infinite detail, all of a sudden you find yourself in the zone. You find yourself like you're in this flow, and anything that happens on the way, not in the way. You feel things are instructive, they're not obstructive. You then become the master of your destiny and not a victim of your history. I promise you, and it's really true, those with an inspired vision are the ones that are the inspired leaders. And there is evidence of this, that when you are living in your vision, you have vitality in your life. And this vitality is directly proportional to the vividness of your vision. The more vivid your vision is, the better you get to understanding what you're about, and the better it reflects from within your body. Another truth is, if you're not building your vision, you're building somebody else's vision. So give yourself permission today to go and do something amazing according to the vision that you see. You live your life by vision and you live it towards destiny. But it starts with you taking action. The Bible talks about asking and you'll receive, seeking and you'll find. If you don't look for it, you're not going to find it. If you don't knock on the door of your heart to ask yourself, what is it that I'm meant to do? You're not going to get it. So there's a big part of this that requires action. And part of that action is also writing things down. Habakkuk 2 verses 2, which is the second scripture I wanted to reference tonight, is write the vision and engrave it plainly on tablets so that one who reads it will run. Interesting how it finishes off by saying one who reads it will run. Run is an action. Run is not just being passive. So the power of writing things down, let's talk a little bit about that. When you write things down, it enables a higher level of thinking, and therefore you become more focused in your action. When your brain isn't busy remembering everything, your brain can then process anything. It's when you're not overwhelmed that you become free to intellectually analyze what's happening on the inside and ask those super important questions. Given all the things I need to do, you can then figure out, by taking the time out, which one is the one that'll have the biggest impact on my life. Which 20% of my activities will yield that 80% of my results? What activities can I eliminate and automate and delegate? You'll find that when you write things down, we don't, and the thing is, we don't do this often enough, but you'll find what we don't do sometimes matters more than what we actually do. And for this reason, writing things down can help your brains prioritize what you should focus on and act on at any given moment. Almost 80% of my personal goals that I've written down have materialized. And I want to leave you with this one point before I'd like to quickly show you and talk to you about a story. Get clear and keep on working on your vision, just like a masterpiece, just like you, that person that's creating the sculpture. Keep working on it every day. Work on it until it becomes clearer. I want to quickly tell you a story about a gentleman called God's architect. Now, God's architect has designed what you're looking at here called the Sagrada Familia. These are just some photos of what the Sagrada Familia is all about. This is a photo of my beautiful wife and I that had the privilege of going to visit this place in person. So a little bit about the story of God's architect. His name is Antoni Gaudi. He was born in 1852, and he attended school in Barcelona, and that's where he became the great person that he is. What's very interesting is he did not like to draw plans as an architect for his buildings. He preferred to build 3D models of them to create a more accurate portrayal of what he was seeing in his mind. This is an example of what he actually built. He built a 3D model that depicted exactly what this basilica or this cathedral needed to look like. Now, this cathedral has in the process of being built for the past 150 years. It's not in its complete state yet, but here's some amazing facts. While it was started out as a cathedral, it's now a basilica. And people have tried to take this down during World War I when he was started the building. Part of the building was destroyed as a result of the First World War. He then continued rebuilding what was damaged. And in World War II, another part of the building was taken down. So it's been under construction for over a century. Now, construction for this, while it began in 1882, and him as Gaudi died in 1926, the amazing thing is his dream, his vision lives on today. And the reason for that is he had a goal, he had a vision that was greater than himself. He built this basilica to honor God. And he did it in a way, and if you look at some photos, and we just don't have enough time to go through that, you will notice how much detail has gone into every piece that's taken, that's on this building. Now, while 150 years is certainly a long time to build something, I want you to think about this. When this thing gets built, it'll have taken longer than it did to build the Egyptian pyramids. And it's only 50 years less than the Great Wall of China. And that's pretty amazing. But the most amazing thing is his vision has lived on beyond himself. Too often times in life, we get caught up by wondering, how am I going to do this? How am I ever going to get to completing this? I can't do it because I don't have the money. The only thing you are required to focus on is the what and the why. Gaudi was clear on what he wanted to do, and you saw the 3D model, and why. And I want to just challenge you to not stop there. While you've got this vision, while you've got this thing inside of you, put it down on paper. Writing it down keeps it alive. It keeps it as that reference point. It keeps it as that North Star that I was telling you about. The other amazing thing with this is, while you get caught up in the what and the why, and you're completing that, don't stop by wondering how you're going to do this. In Map for Life today, we always teach those that are going along this journey with us to focus on that what and the why. The how is other people's problem. Now, the amazing thing about the Sagrada Familia is that building has become a World Heritage Site. How is that building being funded, the completion of it? By you and me. Every time anybody visits, there's a fee that you got to pay. And that's what has been funding the completion of this World Heritage Site. In addition to that, the country is contributing something towards that. Did that stop Gaudi from completing this? No. What's interesting is his vision has continued beyond his own lifetime, which is a thing that we call in Map for Life significance. Because this is about other people, it will live on and will have a greater impact. And this is what I want to leave with you today. As you pursue this journey of writing your vision and getting clear on that, make sure your vision focuses on other people. Make sure it has a focus and an emphasis on significance. When it is about others, people will want to be part of it. And that's how the how part of you fulfilling your vision becomes real. When people can identify with the what and the why, and it's about others, then people will give of their time, of their talents, of their treasures to help you make your vision a completion. So I want to leave you with this. Don't stop. Your vision is inside of you. Give yourself the permission to dream, because every one of us has been born with a purpose on this world. And it's our job to live that. It's our job, firstly, to find it, and then it's our job to live it. Thank you.
Hey Marvin, thank you so much. That was such a great talk. There's so many nuggets that you've offered us there tonight, and I'm really looking forward to the discussion which is now going to follow with the panel. But thank you so much for sharing with us around vision and the actual importance of writing it down. I really believe that a lot of people's lives are going to be changed after listening to this message. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to the panel that will be discussing Marvin's talk for the next few minutes. So Peter, can I ask you to go first and introduce yourself, and then Norman, if you could just give a brief introduction of who you are.
Thanks, Terence. I'm Peter. I'm in Joburg, and I'm a Map for Life groupie, having been involved since even before Map for Life came out. I had got the first one, which was called Your History in the Making, and certainly Map for Life has created the history for me. I loved what Marvin had to say about writing things down, and that a sharp pencil is better than a long memory. I always say, think it, ink it. And so I sort of start off with, that's my first little gem for tonight. Think it, ink it.
Thank you, Peter. Norman? Norman, you're muted.
Well, thanks, Marvin, for such an insightful talk, and that story was great. My name is Norman Sebanago, based in Botswana, a Map for Life coach, highly passionate about transforming lives and making an impact and giving direction so that we can all make a contribution to a better world. Thank you.
Thanks, Norman. Heather, thank you for joining us. You want to give a brief introduction?
Hi, I'm Heather from the UK. I'm not a groupie. I was shocked Peter used that word, but I've been around Map for Life for a while, and I really found the talk fantastic. So I'm keen to see where this discussion goes.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you. I think the first thing that Marvin raised was this whole issue around the definition of a vision. And he gave his definition of a vision. So maybe we can just expand on that and give what our definition of a vision is. It is not a really straightforward. There's a whole lot of different ways of coming at it, definitions of vision. So I'd be interested to hear what the panel's views on what vision means for you. Heather, shall we start with you?
Thanks, Terence. When I think of vision, I think of where I see myself 5 years, 10 years. I think of it as a goal, but I actually picture myself there doing the things that I want to be doing at that particular time. So for me, it's all about the future.
Okay, thank you. Norman, let's go to you.
Well, for me, I think a vision is really, firstly, it exists already inherently inside every one of us. It's just that we need our eyes opened to see it. And as mentioned, it's something you have to seek and find. So it's about that future state that exists. What do I see in the future coming up alive? So for me, it's firstly, it's inherent, but then also, how do I then bring it alive? What do I see in the future?
Excellent. Thank you, Norman. And Peter, before I come to you, I think I just want to expand on what Norman has said, because Marvin was very clear about the fact that the vision is within us. So it's something we are born with, right? And I'll get to this question later on as to why is it then that it's so difficult to actually find our vision? Because if it's in us, it should be almost natural, but it's not. There's a journey there. But I'll get to that just now. Peter, your understanding of interpretation of vision?
Yeah, I agree with what everybody said. I just like to try to keep it simple, and I try to collect pictures to put together some sort of dream. And I talk about a dream board, I talk about a vision board. I love those exercises where you get old magazines and cut pictures out and start putting those together and building from that. And so often you start off and you cut these pictures out, and it takes you on a road, and before you've even realized it, you've created something that you hadn't intended to create. It's just something that happens because of that stuff that's inside you. Inherently, your system knows what you want. Yes.
Yeah. And it's a journey of discovery, isn't it? I mean, so often we want to perfect that picture of our vision, but I think Marvin made it quite clear that it's a process that could take a while before we get to it. Okay, his analogy about the North Star I love, because that's the logo I use on my signature. Actually, my electronic signature is finding your North Star. And it's interesting about the North Star as well, because it used to give direction to sailors, and before all this modern GPS stuff was invented. And Marvin mentioned it's important to keep our eyes focused on the North Star. Some practical ways that we can do that. I'd like to just throw that out to the panel. Some practical ways on which we keep focused and keep our eyes on the North Star, because reality is there are many distractions in life. So just some ideas of how we keep focused.
Can I be controversial?
Please
and
do.
I'm saying we sitting here in the Southern Hemisphere, and we live we live under the Southern Cross, and it's all very well. Heather can have the North Star, but we've got the Southern Cross. So I just throw that in, and I saw the Southern Cross this morning when I went out, and I was quite inspired to see it, because it just it highlighted this dream, these vision things. It put me in touch. It put me in touch with my Creator as I looked there, and I just marveled. I marveled at the beauty in the sky, and I think the Southern Cross is a little better than the North Star. Although at the moment Venus is shining very brightly at 4:30 in the morning.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks for that lesson on astronomy. So we all three of us are in the Southern Cross. Norman, how do you focus on your star? Let's just call it a star, right? How do you focus once you've figured out the direction you're going in? How do you focus and keep focused on that?
Yeah, maybe one could borrow from, I know there's a scripture somewhere in Deuteronomy that, talks about how you should teach your children when they rise up in the morning, when they go about the day, when they are out in the night, when they are out coming back to rest. And it's kind of painting a picture there that it has to be a constant reminder, and it has to be embedded in almost every other activity or every other endeavor that one gets involved in. So write it up, put it behind your diary, put it behind your wardrobe. By all means, if you really want to make it more vivid, put it behind the toilet door if you have to. In that way, you are getting that constant reminder. I mean, he mentioned a very important point, that is the compass that gets us to the realization of it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then he mentioned towards the end the way Gaudi actually built a 3D model, right? He went to that extent to keep him focused. But I would also add, perhaps Norman, is that Map for Life is an excellent tool to pull this all together and to keep us focused. Because if you write it down and you're following the Map for Life methodology, your vision is there. You know, it's part of the process that you're going through on a daily basis. Heather, how do you keep focused on?
Well, you know, Terence mentioned the vision board there. That's right in front of you. You know, the map book, which I have right next to me, is lovely, but it's closed right now. And I've got to open it to stay focused on my vision. Yes, daily, but that vision board, you can put it right up in front of you. And then if you wrote your vision down on a gold card, that you put in your pocket. Every time you need to get your keys out, touch your change, do it, whatever you like, you're touching that card. You're creating that feeling. You're reminding yourself about your vision. And so you're staying focused 24/7.
Right, you're focusing on the why, right? The why you're doing what you are doing, as Marvin so eloquently put it. Yes, no, absolutely. Thank you for that. Marvin also mentioned the benefits of a vision, and you know, I think the audience will benefit greatly if we can just discuss some of the benefits that Marvin mentioned and perhaps others of having a vision. Norman, I'm going to start with you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, you see, one of the things we should acknowledge that a lot of people struggle with is, you know, imagine right now that perhaps I'm in a sea and I'm in water and I'm drowning and all I have is my hand out. That's how most people are feeling. A lot of people are feeling like they're drowning. And there's this whole concept in leadership practice that they've coined a term called VUKA, which means basically we're living in a world that is volatile, a world that is uncertain. There's a lot of complexity and a lot of ambiguity. And the element of vision helps in dealing with an environment of VUKA, an environment where there's confusion. I don't know which direction I'm going in life, or I've kind of planned and then other things come in and they distract my planning. But with a clear vision, you know, the benefit of having a clear vision is that it will help direct your actions. It will help clear the noise. It will remind you of what matters, because we can all easily get distracted. So there's a great benefit for having a vision.
Great, thanks, Norman. And I mean that is so real, that we're not living in this ideal world. You know, there's I love your analogy, and yeah, the term VUKA is one that we need to be aware of. As how do we get out of this chaotic situation into calmer seas? Thank you for that. Peter, your views on benefits, please, or benefits of a vision?
It's a question of the focus. The vision keeps us focused, and I think the vision can inspire us. You know, I talk about one of my first successful overseas trip, and it was to run the New York Marathon, and really it was simply based on looking at a running magazine and seeing these people running in New York and saying, I would like to do that sometime. And I kept that magazine for several years before I actually got there. But it was having that vision before me. And I now have a photograph that I also use to inspire me. It's a photograph of me finishing the New York Marathon. And it just keeps me going on and just lights the fire in my belly. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Peter. Thank you for that. I love that, lights the fire in my belly. Great. Heather?
Well, you know, when you think about vision, you've got to, and the benefits of it, the first thing you've got to realize is that God created that vision for you. I know earlier you people spoke about your vision is in you, but you don't know your vision is in you. You don't even know what the vision is for a long time. So the first thing is to realize is that you are anointed and God created that vision and put it in you. So that is the first thing. And then when you wake up every day and you say to yourself, why am I getting up? Because a lot of people struggle just to get out of bed. And then you think, wait a minute, I'm here for a purpose. And I haven't reached that purpose yet. So I need to get up, get out of bed, and focus on what the purpose is. And as you've said before, you'll refine it as you go along. Because today your purpose might be different. than what your purpose is tomorrow. But your ultimate goal and your ultimate vision is what your major purpose in life is.
Yeah, thanks, Heather. So you're suggesting that the starting point is realizing that vision is within you, because naturally we would go out there to find our vision, and the world is not the place where our vision is. It's where our vision is executed, if I can put it that way.
Yes.
But it starts within. I love that. Marvin also mentioned, and I love this. He said you got to be in the zone. I love that term. In the zone. Not necessarily in your lane, but in the zone, he said. And another thing he said was, you need to be on the way, not in the way. So on the way, executing and moving towards your vision, but not in the way. He also had an emphasis on action. Okay. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. He used that scriptural analogy. And I think many of us battle with getting beyond discovering what our vision is, and even in fact taking the first step of writing it down. But many of us battle with actually then acting on it. Okay. And the reason Marvin alluded to it as well, he said, we don't act on it because we say, well, we don't have the resources. All right. He mentioned we don't know how to do it. Okay. So that's one of the reasons. What would you say to somebody who's got everything, he's got his vision written down, and is somehow maybe fearful of taking the next step? What advice would you give somebody like that? That's done all the first stuff, but is just at the point where they need now to take action. And Heather, I'm going to start with you now. What is that that pushes you into actually taking action? What advice would you give? Somebody's, I don't want to call it sitting on the fence, because that's quite a negative term. But somebody who's really, really serious about vision, and just, it's almost like you're like stuck in the mud and you just can't get your feet out of the mud. What advice would you give somebody like that, Heather?
I'd ask, is this a vision or is it a dream? Because if you're dreaming, you're hoping. If this is a vision, take that one step. Ask yourself, who do I know? That's the problem with being in the way. You are stopping yourself from taking that first step. You only have to do one small little thing to move yourself ahead. And that might be picking up a phone, doing a bit of research, but just ask yourself seriously, is this a dream or is it a vision? Dreamers hope.
Dreamers hope. Vision leads to action.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And the other thing you alluded to there was the community around you, the support that you would need. So before I get to the next question, I'm jumping ahead of myself here. Well, let me ask the question. You don't have to all answer the question. The next question is then, if all it takes to get to your vision is just, take the next step. What other advice would you give, Peter, to somebody who, like I said, is stuck in the mud?
I come back to my earlier little comment about lighting a fire in the belly, and I just think collecting pictures of this dream just help ignite that fire a little bit more, and doing that sort of research, just build up the enthusiasm, build up the passion for what you've got there, and do it that way.
Okay, so just keep on building up the passion. Thanks, Peter.
But the point that Heather made is just to take that little step, and once you take the first step, this next step becomes a lot easier. And maybe that first step is just collecting a couple of pictures, and creating momentum.
Yeah, as we say in Mac for Life, how do you eat an elephant?
Yeah.
One bite at a time. So take it easy. Norman, any thoughts on?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to buttress Heather's point, really, God can never really put something in your mind that you can't execute. we've been blessed to have Glenn put together this great methodology, Map for Life, because it's the whole methodology that supports execution of a vision. So, the habits that you need to adopt, the step-by-step action plan that you need to go with, the allocation of time for certain activities and to work and to realize the vision. So all of that is really encapsulated in this wonderful tool called Map for Life. And that is, in my opinion, what really helps us realize our vision. A vision needs that necessary support around it. And obviously, one of the key elements also is that accountability group, because as we walk that journey, we need to be having that support that comes from other people as well. That's those check-ins in order for our vision to really be realized.
Thanks, Norman. And you're absolutely right. And in Map for Life, there are these communities and accountability groups that do exactly as you've said. And I think all four of us can speak from experience what these accountability groups have done for us in moving towards our vision. Okay, the other thing that Marvin mentioned was that when he was talking about Gaudi and his work, is that it's only being achieved like 150 years beyond, when he created this vision. Vision is always greater than ourselves, he said. Okay, it's all around legacy. And I love the idea of the 3D model. Actually, as we speak, I'm sort of in my own mind saying, how can I take my vision and take it beyond the vision board, right? Whether that be electronically or via a 3D printer or somehow. But I challenge you, the panelists, as well as the audience out there looking. Think of creative ways of how to visualize your vision. Okay. How to really make it a 3D model to start off with, rather than a two-dimensional, one-dimensional vision board. Okay, what do you guys think about vision living beyond ourselves? I mean, is that potentially something we can test our vision by? If we ask, will what I'm doing now live beyond me? Is that some form of a test? And is it a question worth asking of our visions?
Yes,
I'm
most definitely.
Heather, yeah, absolutely. Go.
No, I just think most definitely, because you're planting a seed that's going to grow, and some trees, they last forever. And somebody else is going to come and water that tree and prune it and take it further. So when you're thinking of your vision, it's got to live beyond you. Otherwise, it's just for you. Sorry,
Otherwise,
that's
it's a dream. Yeah, no, that's sound. It could
Yeah.
be a dream.
I mean,
trees, you see it. Sorry, Norman, carry on.
Yeah, I could comment here. I mean, in this panel, I can see that I'm the youngest, and one of the things I've come to terms with. One of the things I've come to terms with is that as one grows older, it becomes very, very clear that there are certain things that matter in life more than others. When you're still young and naive, other things become very important. But as you grow older, they become less important, and other things more. Because so I can imagine, most probably for Daryl, that there are more important things, even more than any of us, here. Now, the point there is that the things that become important is, as through the Map for Life tool, I found that it helps you quickly find your vision earlier in life, and it therefore gives you the opportunity to live and realize and see your vision beyond, potentially whilst you're alive. I mean, look at the Sagrada Familia that we just saw. That whole model had, because it began much earlier, had he begun it much earlier, he would have seen it up to now. So it is indeed true that it's beyond us. It's not about us, but it's beyond us, and it's about that significance that we spoke about. It's about the legacy that you are living. And the earlier we adopt a tool such as Map for Life, then we will realize that, oh, okay, it's not about these things that are important to me now. It's about everything else that's beyond us.
Thanks, Norman. Thanks, Norman. And so you know, the urgency then to get the message out to as many people as possible, including the younger ones, it becomes so much more important, right? And I agree with you. I'd like the thoughts of the rest of the panel on, as you grow older, as you get more mature in life, the way I like to put it is your priorities change, and what's important to you changes. And you know, often we say, if only I knew this 20 years ago, where would I be now? You know, so very true. Comments, guys, on getting to know stuff earlier, and what we, from a Map for Life point of view, can do to facilitate that.
Can I just add something about vision and these pictures that we talk about? And it's a case
Sure.
of looking backwards and using them as a tool, looking backwards and reminding us of the successes in the past and how we can build on those successes of the past because we've created a vision of the past. And this helps us going forward. You know, it's so easy. When we start thinking about the past, we think of past failures and the like. And I'm just saying that some of the correct vision board will show the successes of the past, and that will be the building block on the road going ahead.
Okay, Peter. So you're saying, as you look at your vision board now, you say, well, that's been achieved, and those past successes then give you the fuel to move forward and to achieve the rest. Okay, Marvin mentioned, and I'm gonna sort of round off with this. Marvin mentioned when we talk of time scales, he said the vision is the bridge between the present and the future.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you're adding, there's another dimension, is that there's
I'm adding another dimension to it, and deliberately so. And it's a case of we build the future on the successes of the past.
Right. I love that. Thank you very much. So, panel, thank you so much for these discussions. It was really an interesting one, and I think for the audience, Marvin's almost plea to us is to get going with our visions as quickly as possible. If you don't quite know how, there's resources out there. There's Map for Life resources. There's accountability partners that you can contact that can help you devise a vision, discover your vision, and then pursue it with all the passion that you have. So thank you very much, panel. This was really an interesting discussion. I hope the audience, and I'm sure the audience, gained so much out of it as well. I thank you for your participation and looking forward to another such talk and discussions Wednesday next week. Every Wednesday, these discussions happen. So thank you very much, and good evening to you all.
Thank you. Good night, all.